This is the sixth in a series of video-based lessons that will introduce the foundation for query formulation, which is a process of converting a request for data into a set of SQL instructions. We will discuss the basics of select statement, probably the most widely used SQL command. We begin with a brief historical review of SQL and how it is used today, and continue by examining all the elements of an SQL statement, from where clause and comparison operators to multiple table queries and summaries. This material is covered in the first part of Chapter 4 in the textbook. SQL was developed by IBM in the 70s, but it did not get widely accepted until the advent of relational database management systems in the 80s. Various attempts at standardization were undertaken over the years, but it was not until well into the 80s that an international standard emerged. A number of revisions were approved every 5 years or so, and the core SQL is now largely portable between different RDBMSs. Regarding the usage of SQL, only DB administrators and developers use database definition statements such as create table, used extensively so far. Even power users, certainly your average user, will mostly use select statement for data retrieval, addition, update, and deletion, the last three under very controlled circumstances. There are two ways SQL statements are used in practice. DB administrators and average users typically use SQL in a standalone context, either by directly typing SQL code into specialized editors such as Toad's SQL editor, and this goes for the DB administrators, or using GUI-based query tools, which mostly refers to your average user. Most of the time, the average user is not even aware that he or she is generating SQL commands when registering for a class, booking a flight, or browsing online. DB developers and programmers use SQL in an embedded context, where SQL statements are contained within a computer program and interact with DBMS under the hood to query tables and return results to the program. Next, we begin our study of SQL select statement by learning about its where clause. It uses comparison operators to form logical expressions that restrict the results of a query. We will start our hands-on work shortly by navigating to the class folder, 03 Query SQL subfolder, and lectures subfolder one more level down. So that would be 03 underscore query underscore SQL, and then the lectures folder one level down. For me, I have the slides and videos as usual, and then right click on the first SQL script, MySQL3 underscore 01 underscore where underscore cost underscore age, and open this pretty much blank script in Notepad. There's really nothing to see, so we'll minimize it and switch back to the presentation to further discuss the where clause. Okay, so the select statement that starts right here uses projection operation to restrict the result to 4 columns: first name, last name, city, and age. Then the from clause specifies which table will those columns come from, and that's our customer table. Finally, in this simple first query, the where clause acts as a restrict operator to limit the results to only those customers with age 60 or over. Okay, now let's switch back to Notepad, and using this slide we will type those SQL statements. Select first name, comma, last name, comma, city, comma, age, from customer where age greater than or equal to 60. Okay, we'll save the changes, close and minimize Notepad, switch to Toad, make sure that the SportsDB database is the active one, and then in the editor We'll close this button and we'll open up the in this 03 Query SQL under lectures from these slides and videos. We'll open up the newly created query. After reviewing it briefly, we'll run it, okay, and the result should return two customers, Rex Chambers and Jerry Gruber, one from Anchorage, another one from Raleigh. There are, ages 62 and 61, okay, and therefore over 60 or over. So notice, let's switch quickly back to the presentation. Notice that just like in Excel, for example, less than and greater than or equal to operators down here at the bottom of the slide, okay, consist of two characters. Less than character, okay, directly followed by equal sign, and then greater than character directly followed by the equal sign as well. Not equal operator, which I thought it was somewhere here. I think it's below. I can't see it. Has two, one less than and one greater than symbol following each other immediately. So for now, think of these as exclusively numerical comparisons, right? Is a number equal to another one, less than, greater than, or equal to, and so forth. A few scripts down the road, you will see how some of these are used to compare text values as well. Okay, now we'll switch back to the class folder, to the lectures folder specifically, and we'll right click to open, and hopefully not in read-only mode, the ACCDB3_sports database. Okay, our sports access database, and note that all five of the tables, as well as the relationships using database tools, relationships are already there. Okay, and ready to go, so to speak. Right? So just like with access table design, which is more visual when compared to writing SQL code, creates table of variety, right? The query design allows you to use the GUI type approach to formulating queries. The added benefit is that you can display the underlying SQL script, as I will demonstrate shortly, and use it when building queries in another RDBMS such as MySQL, we just did. While we won't create every single access query after every single MySQL script, you're going to do enough for them to get a hang of it. Okay, so start by clicking on the Create tab, okay, and then Query Design button. The Show table will pop up, and all we need, as you can tell from our current slide, all we need is a customer database. Okay, you might need to bring the query grid a little bit more up. Okay, extend the customer table further down if necessary. Again, since my font is large by design, some of this thing is going to start feeling a little bit cramped up, but that's okay. And then what we'll do is we'll drag the fields one by one, starting with, what was it, first name, then was last name, then it was city, and then it was age, which is a little bit back up. Okay. Then what we'll do is we'll click in the, first of all, we'll save the query, right? As long as, as soon as you do something, just like with scripts or any files for that matter, you want to save the changes so you don't lose them. And the name of the query is going to be similar, ACC, let me see, DB3, okay, underscore 01 underscore cust underscore, where underscore cust underscore h. Okay, or something like that. Okay, then we'll click on the criteria row on the query grid, which is what this grid looking thing is called, and we'll type the greater than or equal to 60 criteria and enter or tab out of it. Okay, save the changes, save this particular change to the grid, and then run the query using the big exclamation point run button. You should see the same two gentlemen from Anchorage and Raleigh, 62 and 61 years old. Okay, then using the view drop down under home tab, so click the home tab if you have to, view drop down, you can switch to the SQL view. Okay, so the three views are the design view we started from, where you design the query, datasheet view, which is the equivalent of hitting the run button and running the query, and then the SQL view that shows that apart from the customer table name in front of every column, but you really have a couple extra parentheses, but other than that, it looks exactly the same as it does on the slide for the MySQL script. Okay, so we'll close this, we'll minimize access, we'll switch back to the presentation and pause.